afternoon. Thanks for joining us. I'm Mike Brown, and we're going to wait just a minute or so to let people continue logging in. The numbers are growing rapidly, so I want to make sure everybody gets in. So once folks are logged in another minute or so, we'll get started. You'll be able to see a replay rather, of this on our website on mystatemls.com. And I'm also going to turn these slides into an ebook after the webinar that you'll be able to have access to. So thanks for joining us today. I'm again Mike Brown, VP of Sales, Marketing, Communication, and the producer of Go Home TV. It's powered by My State MLS, the nationwide multiple listing service. This is an overview of content marketing using video for selling real estate. If you do this, your results will be more traffic on social media and your website, more leads, more prospects, and more customers. This process that I'm going to show you today, I've been doing for several decades, actually, with multiple industries and multiple employers and clients. And I guarantee you that it works. I've never seen it when it doesn't work. So let's just get started. So the benefits of video marketing in real estate. The average person watches 19 hours of videos online per week, compared to just 10.5 hours in 2018. That's according to the National Association of Realtors. Real estate listings with video receive 403% more inquiries than listings without. Of all buyers and sellers, 85% want to work with an agent who uses video as part of their marketing efforts. YouTube is the second largest search engine in the world, right after Google search. You can use that to your advantage. Benefits of video marketing in real estate too. 86% of home buyers use video to research a particular community, and 70% use it to tour the inside of homes. 44% of home buyers begin their search for a residence online, and video helps with SEO, that's search engine optimization results, and standing out on crowded search pages. 39% of home buyers use sites with embedded video during their home searches, and 56% of them felt it was very useful. You know, in a tightening market, which is what we're in right now, or the low inventory market we have experienced in the last couple of years, you must compete. You must work harder, you have to work smarter, and you have to do more. And now is not the time to cut back. You have to fight for each listing and fight for each sale. And so there's tools out there to help you do that. Links to pages with embedded video get 157% more organic search results than pages without video. I call organic search results Google juice. Google's the big dog in the room, and you want to be able to find your listings and your content on the first page of Google. If it's on the 4th or 5th page of Google, guess what? It may as well not even be on Google, because nobody ever goes that deep. So embedded video gets 157% more Google juice than pages without video. 37% of agents and broker respondents say they use video in their marketing today, while 27% say they do not. The remaining 35% say that while they do not currently use video for marketing, they hope to in the near future. That's 62% that do not use video today or yet, 62%. So that now is the time to invest in high quality video content. You have the opportunity to become the media. You have a chance to become the broadcaster. The gatekeepers are no longer in charge. Television stations, newspapers, magazines, the traditional media is no longer in charge. You are. You can become the media. And any business that isn't in the broadcasting and publishing business will get crushed by their competition that is in the broadcasting and publishing business. So you can beat your competition by offering what other agents are not. Video marketing and the extra marketing power of a nationwide MLS will help you beat your competition. The first thing you need to consider when you're producing video or any content for that matter is who is your audience? Is your audience sellers? Is it buyers? Is it other agents or brokers? Your audience should drive that message you're creating, how you create it, and where you will distribute it. Create persona profiles for your best client types. Include personal demographic data, motivators, fears, beliefs and values, style, online channels they use. Use that info to build your ideal client types. Now you can do this on an Excel spreadsheet. You just put a client type or a persona profile, and let's say it's a retired couple, and then you put down um, their demographic data, what you think motivates them, what their fears might be, what their beliefs and values are, what style of homes they may like, or what style of interior design they may like, online channels they use. And you do that for all of these typical client types. So other client types besides retired couples could be working parents, single mom, etc. What motivates each of them? What are their fears? What are their beliefs and values? What styles do they typically like? Where are they online? For example, you probably won't find a lot of retired couples on TikTok, at least not right now, but they'll most likely be on Facebook. You build these personas so it helps you pick topics to create video about what to use in scripts or in any content that you're going to create. I want to caution you though, be careful about fair housing issues. Don't build personas based on race, religion, all of the fair housing issues. You're building these personas as just a guide to help you figure out your audiences and media outlines. It helps you categorize how you're going to create your content so that you can create content for specific audiences. There's a lot of different uses for video in real estate. And here's some video types. Home tours. They're an obvious use for video. News like your local market news about sales, inventory, newer featured listings, mortgage rates, any helpful information for your clients. Feature stories about a community around your listing, including schools, restaurants, recreation area, lifestyle. Those are helpful videos also. For webinars, you can produce content on how to sell a house, how to buy a house, how to find the best mortgage in today's market, and more. Here's a unique idea. How about partnering with a home stager, appraiser, inspector, and mortgage pros and let your audience know the latest about those things? That's all helpful information. And then there's the fun, funny, zany, and quirky videos. Watch YouTube and TikTok for ideas about those. Um, the sky's the limit on this. Um, you can try anything. You can test anything. It may not work today. It may work in the future. What's guaranteed for sure is if it worked a year ago, it may not work now because these platforms are all changing and people's tastes are all evolving as the internet explodes. So by doing this kind of video, you're going to end up attracting more attention. You're going to be able to add to your marketing mix of what you already do with either direct mail or brochures or sales letters. Be able to provide traffic to your website and social media. You're going to provide yourself with leads. You're going to get more customers and establish yourself as an authority on the real estate business by using video. So what formats work best for your audience? The format that top-rated TV shows use that appeals to your particular client persona is the format you want to try. Um, I'm a big believer in following the, using what the masters do, and the masters are the television makers and the filmmakers. So follow what they do, and you'll have a better chance of being successful. So some of the formats are recorded versus live. I don't really recommend live because if you don't do that like every day on a certain schedule, um, chances are you're not going to pick up much in the audience. So I suggest doing recorded content. You could do live on YouTube and Facebook, but again, I would suggest just doing recorded content. Straight information, um, information about listings, news, marketing, news format versus advertising. I'm going to talk about that a little bit more in a couple of slides. Feature stories, home tours, real estate shows. You could be a person that has a format where you're the anchor and you have some of your agents, if you're the broker, let's say, and you have some of your agents go out and be the field reporters about what's going on in the market, about what's going on with the listings you have. You can do, that more complex format, or you can do, a documentary format, which is essentially just showing one issue at a time. Look at HGTV. Many real estate professionals are addicted to HGTV, and guess what? So are consumers. They have great styles. There's a lot of different formats. Take the most popular ones and say, well, that particular style might work for what we want to do, and go ahead and produce those kinds of things. You can also do audio or video podcasts. Um, a lot of people listen to audio uh, only podcasts and YouTube without watching the video while they're doing other things. It's a multitasking world we're in now, so a lot of people just listen to helpful information or educational information while they're doing other things. So whatever format works best for your audience is the one you should use. Here's some examples of video in real estate. Again, an obvious one is showing off a property. When they've watched that, the audience feels like they've toured the property. Show off you interacting with a property. If you look great on camera, you speak great on camera, then you might want to go and interact with that property. Play the piano that's on the property, jump in the pool, um, do the cook in the kitchen, of the property that you are in. Of course, the owner has to agree to all this, but, interact with the property. That's a fresh approach. I see agents doing that now on video, and it's very, very good if they are very good on camera. So that's a different approach than just showing off a property by pointing a camera around. Show off the neighborhood, highlight attractions, restaurants, parks and schools, other community favorites, plus a few of the best properties in town. That's a great way to use video. Meet your neighbors feature story. When I was head of marketing for Pulte Homes in Florida, one of the best ways we did commercials was not by doing all those ads where you had the flying cameras, aerial shots of communities and all that. We did some of that too, but a lot of it was we would hold a picnic at the town center or the community building, and we just invite everybody to come over for a free barbecue, and we'd interview them on camera, and those folks would be able to see what their neighbors would be like. And then many times those folks would say more things than we could ever dream up about how great the neighborhood was to live in, and they become one of some of your best advocates. And of course, then those same people that you've interviewed will now share your video because they're in it with everybody they know. So it's a great lead generator also. You can introduce your brokerage to the world. You can introduce yourself as an agent or broker. You can have a Q&A session. as an agent on camera. Have people send you questions and you can answer them, or you can make up the questions yourself and shoot yourself doing the questions and answers. Customer testimonial, those are always good. I was trained as a 60 Minutes producer, so that style is probably the most popular and convincing, persuasive style of video that you can produce. There's a lot that goes into it. They're anywhere from 7 minutes to 15 minutes long. Watch 60 Minutes and how they do it. But if you do that on, issues in your area, in your community, something like affordable housing or bidding wars or any of those kinds of things, um, then you will become known as an authority on real estate in your market. And people will watch that format because it's the most popular format there is. You do a real estate market report in your coverage area. I don't know how many of you are active on Active Rain, but that's a very popular blog topic on Active Rain where uh, folks do articles. They usually don't do video, but they do articles on what their market is like. And that content can also be shared around on social media, Facebook and and Instagram and all the various platforms. So that's always a helpful uh, piece of content to create. Show the latest about home staging. Um, have an open house report while you're there on location. If the owner agrees, you can actually do a live from your open house on TikTok or Facebook or YouTube, um, and you can let people know how it's going at the open house, and also show off the property at the same time. You can have webinars about buying and selling property in your market, and you can show property as it's going through an upgrade. Many folks are now, rather than buying property, they're upgrading their properties, to either stay in or sell. And if they're thinking about selling, um, ask them if you can, shoot some of the construction work and the upgrading that's going on, just like HGTV does. And they have literally millions of viewers on HTV watching those shows as remodels are going on. Let's talk a little bit about advertisements. I produced a lot of commercials. Um, it's in today's world, it's my last choice for content in a content marketing program. People don't like to be interrupted, and they don't believe most ads, especially the younger they are. If they're under 40, they flat don't believe any kind of advertising. So it's my last choice for that reason. But um, you can still ask for the sale. And my rule of thumb is to produce 4 pieces of free, helpful content and distribute that. And then 1 piece of content asking for the sale. That's asking for the listing or asking for a buyer. 4 pieces of free and helpful content, and then 1 piece of asking for the sale. If you are going to produce ads, um, an old ad guy that I know, his name's, you probably heard of him, James Patterson. He's a famous author. He used to be the CEO of J. Walter Thompson. Um, he believes that the best ads hit people with a surprise instantly at the beginning and then show or say something smart. So that's the way ads uh, will work today, is if you just hit them with a surprise, something that's shocking, and then show something smart about whatever the topic is. That's probably the best way to produce a 15-second or 30-second commercial. I want you to know this. I've been using news to sell for decades, and news sells better than commercials all the time. Commercials may work still for consumer products, but for a large ticket, $300,000, $400,000, $500,000 item, Ads just don't work that well. You don't get traffic in sales centers or real estate offices from those ads. However, you will get traffic if you report news about the same subjects. And so if you have a nose for news and you can think outside the box, that's probably a way better way to produce content and video than ads. So that's enough about advertising. So let's talk about content development and your marketing strategy. You want to build a content strategy that drives traffic to your website. Don't worry about becoming YouTube or Facebook famous. The name of the game is conversion. In other words, sales. It isn't about how many subscribers you have and how many followers you have. That's important to some extent, but the best strategy for content development is making fantastic content that's watchable, that's viewable, that's readable. And so that's an idea that you should keep in mind always when you're trying to produce content. So that involves pre-production planning. There's a couple of ways to do scripts. You can do a full script, which keeps you on track, or you can do a keyword script, which is just bullet points of what you're going to cover. Creating content is about the research. So it's not something you just imagine and you start doing. Okay, you need to research the topic. You need to understand the topic. You need to know enough about the topic so you're actually giving information that is helpful. You know, the news programs, especially local affiliate news, they, if it bleeds, it leads. So it's the car accidents and all of that, and murders and all of that. Then they go down to sex sells. That's the second most covered topic. So anything that has sex in it. And then the third thing is animals in the content. Those are the top three things that most local affiliate news stations produce every day, and not too many people watch it anymore because it doesn't apply. It isn't worthwhile to most audiences. So you're better off figuring out helpful information to be helpful to your customers. The news stations don't care about that. They don't care to be helpful. They're just trying to get eyeballs so they can sell more advertising. What you're trying to do is be helpful. If you are helpful to folks with the video you're producing, they'll watch it and they'll keep on coming back to watch more. And they'll eventually call you up or email or text you to try and get you to help them with their housing, either sales or buying. So that's covers pre-production planning. It's best to plan what you're going to do, and then you go into production where you shoot and record everything. You create all the elements that will go in a final video. And guess what? Most videos need an article to go with them. It could be a long article or it could be a short article, but you'll probably need some kind of an article. If it's a longer article, you can break it up into smaller parts and use that in multiple pieces along with the multiple pieces of video that you are going to distribute on social media. There's this big controversy about horizontal versus vertical. Well, in today's world, unless you can shoot one scene horizontal and also be able to edit it into a vertical format, you're going to have to shoot both horizontal and vertical. Vertical is typical for TikTok and Facebook Reels and all of that. So you should do both. You get all your video, graphic illustrations, still photos, and audio, and then you take that into post-production for editing. Full-length video editing, use cuts only. Don't use a lot of transitions, fades, and all these different transitions between scenes or between edits. It's just distracting. If you use too many of them, it gets really unwatchable. So cuts only. It's simpler. It's faster. And then you can make all of that content with into shorts. which becomes micro content in vertical formats and square formats. So build a content strategy that drives traffic to your website. Again, don't worry about becoming a YouTube or Facebook famous. Name in a game is to sell. Okay, so after you've got your video edited and finished, you'll want to post it on YouTube for the purpose of embedding on your real estate website. It's great to have it on YouTube, but the more traffic you drive to your website, the more chance you get viewers and users to interact with your content, including your listings, including your other marketing material, including your webinars, including more of your content, and eventually, hopefully, they will be contacting you through your website to become a client. Your real estate website should be the main destination for your content. All links from YouTube, social media should go back to that. Why? Because that's where you sell. You sell from your website. It's really difficult to sell from social media. It's better to get people on your website and get them interacting with your content and interacting with your email address to try and get you to have them as a client. So post YouTube video links on your listings. In mystatemls.com, we allow YouTube video links right from every listing. So you have to be a member of MyState MLS to have that feature. Social media, I'm going to show more on the next slide. That content that you produce, that video, should go out to your audiences, to your personas in an email. You can do it as a single video post to that particular audience, or you can send out a newsletter with multiple videos and stories in it. Both methods work. If you're in the habit of sending out a regular newsletter once a week or once a month, is kind of late, but not often enough. But if you have a habit of sending out a newsletter once a week, you can put several videos in it. Direct mail as part of your marketing mix. Almost all real estate folks use direct mail, but I suggest using a piece of direct mail that is much larger than a postcard. I have used for years an 8.5 by 11 newspaper format or news magazine format. It's just a single 8.5 by 11, and it looks like a news magazine on the front and back. And so it has your stories on there. And if you put a QR code with each story, they can click on it and that will take them to your web page that has the video. So you don't have to put the entire story, you just put a blurb on there and a QR code. If they're interested in more, they click on the QR code and that takes them to see the video. And so it's a great way. Somehow these newsletter postcards is what I call them, ends up staying in people's on their desk, in their junk drawer. And I've had people call 3 years later and go, "Hey, is this community still available for sale?" Because they wanted to save it, and they did, and they called sometime later, and so that's a possible way of people not throwing out the content because it's not selling content. It is actual news and information that's helpful. And this just adds a twist to that by putting QR codes on it so you can get them to start interacting with your website. Okay, social media is part of the marketing mix. YouTube and social media are the game changers in marketing. Real estate has been very slow to adopt this compared to other industries. The business model that realtors and agents have used has been a 100-year-old business model. Real estate is one of the last businesses to go fully internet-based. It's getting there, but if you look at broadcasting and the news industry and healthcare and and music. I mean, all these different industries have gone full internet, and real estate is not quite there yet. And so um, it's been slow for real estate folks to start using social media and video to sell and to market. Well, the gatekeepers lost control about 25 years ago. All the newspapers, all of the broadcast stations, all of the radio stations, they lost control. Now everybody is has their own channels that they can manage. And so all you have to do is master them to maximize your traffic, engagement, and sales. And so, you start with YouTube and making vertical format shorts, which is something relatively new on YouTube. Um, YouTube skippable ads. I've had a lot of success with those. Um, that's when you go to YouTube and you click on that channel or that video, it'll show a skip ad down in the right-hand corner. People don't want to watch it. It goes on to the next thing that you were planning on watching. But it's surprising how many people click on those ads and watch them. If they're well produced, they're not produced like commercials, but they're produced like stories. They get a lot of views and then clicks to your website. Google Ads is still out there. It was AdWords, but I've had a lot of success with Google Ads. But lately, skippable ads are cheaper, um, and um, and there's so many people watching YouTube now that you can actually target, specific buyer personas and specific industries and specific um, types of people with skippable ads, and you'll get all the analytics of how well they work or how well they don't work, and you can test A and B tests on these skippable ads to see which ones work best, and then just keep on running them. There, are, real estate Google ads and even YouTube skippable ads. Um, are well, real estate Google ads can get up to $20 per click. They're somewhere between $2 and $20 per click. YouTube skippable ads are usually significantly less than that, but I've found a lot of success with them. And just real estate in general, the Google ads are pretty expensive per click. So try YouTube skippable ads, and your costs will be less, and you'll get a lot of people watching them. Facebook is still number one, as difficult as the platform is to to boost posts and to do advertising on Facebook. Their program um, uh, is always buggy and always has lots of issues, but it's still the number one channel on social media to get content out in front of people. Um, you always want to upload original video to Facebook and boost. Don't link your YouTube link from Facebook to YouTube. It just doesn't get the engagement that taking the native video and uploading it into Facebook. And then once you take these great stories that you've produced, you want to boost them. If you don't boost your content on Facebook, only 4 to 5% of your actual followers see that content, and almost nobody in the public. So if you boost it, and I'm talking about $20, $80 at the most, and if you boost it, you will get a lot of views. We've increased our Facebook views by 1 million in the last year for my state MLS. Over 1 million reach on Facebook just by boosting our stories that we're doing on Go Home TV. So, Facebook and boosting is your friend. It's the key to success. Don't do ads, post stories, and boost them. you will get a lot of traffic. And all of those posts should always have a link back to your website if Facebook allows you to do it. It's so buggy sometimes it does allow you to send people to your website. So, but you know, suffer through the Facebook bugs and do it because it absolutely increases your traffic tremendously, and increases the amount of views on your content. The Facebook vertical format is called Stories, and don't forget about Facebook Marketplace. You can put your listings and your stories in Facebook Marketplace also. Instagram's always been a challenge because you can't get links directly from content, or at least not regular posts to your website. You'll have to use some kind of sharing platform like Linktree in your bio. You can, however, in Reels, include a link from the vertical format Reels of a video you produce or place in Instagram to your website. So that's what you want to do with that. Remember, YouTube and social media are game changers in marketing. You got to master them, and you will increase your traffic, engagement, and sales. Social media is part of the marketing mix. TikTok, relatively new player on the market. It's a vertical format. It skews younger for now, but not too young. You'll see a lot of real estate people starting to use it, and it is the fastest growing platform right now. And so we have just started to go put content on TikTok, and we're gonna be expanding that at My State MLS and Go Home TV. LinkedIn, well, LinkedIn's Facebook for people with money. A lot of folks think of it as a way to get a job. There are groups on LinkedIn for every subject you can imagine, just like there is with Facebook. But the difference is the LinkedIn people are folks with actual money. Um, the biggest drawback to LinkedIn is ads and boosting are very expensive. If you want to do advertising on LinkedIn to get some results, we're talking about $1,000 and up. It's not like Facebook where you can boost things for $20, $80, a couple of $100 and expect some results. You're on LinkedIn, you're talking about thousands of dollars to get some results. You get very good results because you can highly target with LinkedIn. It's a great way to target people, but it's very expensive to play on LinkedIn. Twitter, only thing I can say about that is good grief, Charlie Brown. It's a mess. Two of my accounts, I have over 7,000 followers on two of my accounts, and they haven't grown at all in the last year or two because they're playing political games and goofball games with manipulating the audiences and the content. And so, unless somebody like Elon Musk actually ends up buying Twitter and fixing it, we're still posting on Twitter, but don't expect a lot of results from it. I don't know how many have heard of Active Rain. I've been on it for years. It's blogging with other agents. It's a great way to connect with other agents. It's a U.S. based only, but you can put videos on there. We put all of our content on Active Rain and get a lot of views. I think since we started in the last year, we've got about 186,000 views on Active Rain. So these platforms are changing and evolving constantly. Don't expect that what worked a year ago to work today or tomorrow. You have to constantly test to see what's working today, and you have to constantly evolve by changing and learning the new things that they offer and that they push out, so that you can use them effectively. Things on Instagram, for example, still photos on Instagram a year ago was a great way to attract a lot of attention. It's not working nearly as well now, and video is working much better. So, you know, you're going to have to be in it for the long haul and continue learning and relearning these platforms and new platforms. I've been an early adopter for almost all of these platforms. My kids were horrified when I got a TikTok account and Discord, but um, you know, you have to learn them. But I wouldn't use any of them or pull the trigger on any of them unless they have at least 10 million users. Anything before that or below that, they may be out of business before they take hold. So, and you'll be wasting a lot of your time. So, um, uh, that's my advice on new platforms. Uh, Wait until there's 10 million users, and then you know, certainly use and try out some of those platforms to learn what they do and how they do them. But I wouldn't invest a lot of time and money in them until they have at least 10 million viewers or users. Let's talk a little bit about equipment and software. Uh, I'm going to assume that most of you would be interested in prosumer technology. iPhone with at least 1 terabyte of storage for recording audio and video is a fantastic platform. Certainly, you know, Android phone, you can use that as well. I've got iPhone, so that's what I've used mostly. Um, that is the iPhone camera today in a 13 is way better than the cameras we use, the big broadcast cameras we used 20 years ago for Discovery Channel. So, you know, the camera technology is fantastic. The thing you have to know is the equipment and software, it does not a storyteller make. You know, it doesn't matter if you don't know how to tell a story with video. It doesn't matter what equipment or software you have. You have to learn how to make stories in video. It's much different than writing a story in print or online or in text. It's much different. My suggestion is to learn about story making, go watch a lot of 60 Minutes. Um, Whether you're listening for the content or not, watch what they do, see how they shoot things, see how they put sequences of shots together. Make it so that you can play whatever you're going to shoot, you can actually see it on the inside of your eyelids before you go out and shoot it, so that you know that story is going to work. And then go out and shoot your script. So I put together a list of content. We're not sponsored by any of these companies or anything. This just happens to be the list of content or the list of equipment and software that I use. But I'm not getting any residuals or kickbacks, or I don't or anything for talking about these particular uh, uh, pieces of technology. It's just I know they work together, and so you know, if you want a smartphone video rig with a shotgun mic, um, you know, that's where your phone goes into a rig that you can carry around. You can do motion shots with it. Um, Directional microphone with a lightning connector to connect so that your phone can record the audio. Um, Wireless lavaliers for your iPhone. Um, Filmic Pro is some software that you'll have more control over your camera in an iPhone. You want a light kit, at least 3 lights. Um, a real tripod. These really cheap tripods are terrible. You don't want your tripod to just fall over on its own and break your $1,400 iPhone and all the other gear that you have hanging on it. So I recommend getting a substantial tripod with a smooth head so you can pan with your phone. Um, Smartphone clamp so you can attach the phone to a clip so that you can easily take the phone off of the tripod and use it handheld. Um, you know, you can use iMovie for editing. It's a great cuts only. They do have some transitions, but it's a great cuts only platform. And I recommend you know, just sticking with that. Going to the more complex um, software out there doesn't really help you create better stories. Creating great stories means creating great scripts and planning to to tell a great story. And then finally, the Ricoh Theta Z1 is a great virtual home tour camera, 360 virtual home tour camera. So that's good technology. I'm not a big techie guy. I know the equipment, but I'm not a big follower of it. I'm more of a story maker. So to me, it doesn't make much difference what equipment you have. It's better to know how to make stories. If you decide you want to do professional technology, then get ready for some serious capital expense and on-the-job education if you want to do this yourself. If you hire outsiders to do it for you, make sure you have the budget to hire the right team. There's a lot of people out there that are touting themselves as great story makers, but they're not. And make sure you check out their demo reel and make sure they can do it. But with them, you're going to be talking about using pro cameras, or if you get it yourself, the pro cameras are $5,000, $10,000, $15,000. Tripods, a lot of money. Full-blown light kit, all the audio gear. You'll probably need a real producer. You maybe even want a professional on-camera talent for what you're doing. You'll need a production equipment operator, camera operators, audio equipment operators, professional editors, stock footage library and a music library, stock music library. All that stuff costs a lot of money. So if you want to get into the real high end of video production, this is what I recommend, unless you have a lot of time on your hands and are really inclined to get educated about it. I will say this about getting educated about it. This is a hands-on deal. You can't learn it from a book. You can't learn it from lectures in a classroom. You have to learn it by doing it and trying things out and learning all the technology as you're using it. It's hopefully with a mentor who knows how to do it well. That's the best way. That's the best way to do it. So putting all your content together, I would, present to you that content marketing is like a full court basketball game without timeouts, and it's like a full court press. It's a 24-hour deal, 24-hour a day deal, producing content that's relevant and it hits people right where they need to see it and when they need to see it. Video requires articles too, long form, and then you cut them up into shorter pieces, and those become the pieces that go out on social media to send people back to the long form content that's on your website. To do it right, you must produce a lot of high quality content that viewers will read, watch, engage in, and click on links to your website and what you're selling. Good content requires planning, but be flexible. A hot news item that fits your marketing should be acted on quickly. That's called newsjacking. And if you have some piece of news that will help your customers, your clients, learn something about the market, then that's a piece of content you want to at least share or produce other content from you about it. My tip for this is you have to love the process. If you love it, chances are you'll create great content. If you don't love it, I guarantee you'll produce content nobody will watch. It's you have to have a love affair with producing this content. It is not something, if you find it really tedious or you don't like doing it, then you're not going to produce great content. And so I would find somebody else to do it for you. I couldn't get into the details of actually how to shoot video on location in studios and for real estate, but our Vice President of Operations, Dave, did a 5-part series on how to do that. Dave used to work in television, and he did a 5-part series on the details of how to produce video for real estate. It's called Lights, Cameras, Sold. Preparing to shoot, outlining video, shoot and edit video, distribute and promote your videos. The series started on for April 5th, 2021. You can go to our website to see that. If you see this QR code, you just click on this QR code, and it'll take you right to that web page where the series starts. It's a 5-week series. That's how much time it takes to even get started to teach all of this, and we couldn't do that in a 30 to 40-minute webinar today. But this will give you some additional resources so that you can learn more. So don't forget to like and subscribe to our Go Home TV channel on YouTube. And we have all of our content. We just launched that YouTube channel, or relaunched it back in April, and we already have over 1,000 subscribers now. And so you can subscribe to that channel and you'll get lots of free content. You are welcome to share it. You're welcome to comment on it. You can use that content in your own material. You're welcome to do it. And it's all free. And our webinars are there as well, all the way back to the time that when the company started creating webinars. So you can go back and learn a lot of stuff from some very smart people that have produced our webinars. So that's it for today. If you have any questions about My State MLS or about this content, you can call us at 888-769-7657. My State MLS is a nationwide multiple listing service, and you should be able to sell and list your properties everywhere you're licensed, not just in your local MLS. So that's the reason we have My State MLS, is so you can list properties anywhere you're licensed. I'm going to open it up for a couple of questions. Let me go down here and do that. Let's see. Sorry, this will only take a second. Here we go. If anyone has any questions, go ahead and leave them in the chat or in the question box.
Mike, we have one question.
Yes.
All right, this comes from Shaniza asking, are we able to get copies of these PowerPoints?
Yes, we're going to, I'm going to create a ebook out of this, and I'm also going to, we're also going to have a replay of the webinar. They'll be on our website in the next few days. So you'll be able to have both the full webinar and also an ebook, so you can go through the panels one by one. Let's see. Okay, that looks like it's all the questions. Well, listen, thank you very much for attending today. I appreciate it. And you all have a great rest of the week.
Mike, we have one more.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, so this one might actually need to be answered by somebody, but can I put listings on the MLS that I have with MLS?
With a local MLS, yes, you can. You can take any of your listings that are on a local MLS and put them on My State MLS. And you can also see all of the listings from all the local MLSs in the country. There's about 600 MLSs. You can see them all on My State MLS by using our Pro Search feature. And that's properties that have been on MLSs and for sale all the way back to the 1980s. So it's a very good database that we have on our site. It's a great way to do comps and to do research on properties, so you can price properties properly. And so it's a great feature we have as part of My State MLS. Okay, well, great. I thank you very much for everyone coming. Thanks again, and have a great rest of your week.